Okay, I have a question for you. What is the best metric to see how your customer success efforts are working? And what is even the difference between customer success and customer service? And how can you separate them and how can you focus to make each one amazing? And what are the best ways to make your customer success thrive? I had Puneet Kataria on the show. He's here to talk about all the best things about customer success and what you can do to apply it in your business. Enjoy.
Welcome to SaaS-Story in the Making, the podcast that features the people who made the software world what it is today and the leaders who are shaping the future of technology. Here's your host, Matt Wallach.
Welcome. This is Matt. I am your host. This is SaaS-Story in the Making. I'm super excited to have you here. And I'm delighted to be joined by my special guest today, Puneet Kataria. Puneet, how you doing?
Pleasure to be here, Matt. I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. So I want to tell everybody about you, Puneet. First of all, Puneet's the founder at customersuccessbox.com. It's a company that helps B2B SaaS businesses keep their subscribers forever. I'm really excited to dive into all that and how you can do that. Really, Customer Success Box, it's an outcome-driven customer success platform, which helps B2B SaaS companies reduce churn and grow their recurring revenue. Really cool stuff, what they're doing. He's also the VP or formerly VP of Global Sales at Kayako, and he really knows his stuff when it comes to customers, whether it's sales, whether it's customer success. Super, super cool dude, super experienced. Puneet, once again, thanks for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Matt. Such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Likewise. So tell me, Puneet, what's going on with you guys lately at Customer Success Box and what's coming up?
Well, since subscription economy is all over, none of us are buying stuff back in the ownership economy days. We all subscribe, not just in our B2C lives, but also in our B2B lives. So I think it is an exciting time, frankly, to be both a customer as well as a software provider, as a SaaS vendor, as a SaaS partner. Because if you really look at it, the onus of delivering value is no more is actually with the SaaS provider or the vendor as a partner. We need to deliver value because the authority with which customers are now subscribing has empowering them that they can actually fire you as a vendor whenever they want. If they're not getting value, they can move on. So fundamentally, the way we used to do business back in the ownership economy days has changed. The goalpost is no more closed one. The globe, if at all you want to rename those in the CRM, you should call it open one, because that's when the journey truly begins. And we at Customer Success Box are making sure that when you do win a customer, you're not only winning that customer for a few months or a few quarters, you are actually able to deliver value month on month, quarter on quarter, and year on year, and retain those customers, not just for 3, 5, 7 years, but literally forever.
I love it. It's super, super important. I mean, that's the beauty of SaaS. You've got the opportunity for recurring revenue. It's great for the people who are buying it, the customers, because you have a continually evolving product that's continuing to get better and better with better services, more capabilities. So it's great for everyone. But you're right. Because of that, they could leave at any time. So you've got to continue to show that, they belong there, that they're going to get value. What are some of the best methods for doing that, Puneet? I mean, you're definitely an expert at this, and you guys are fantastic at it. But how are the best SaaS companies keeping their customers forever?
No, let's slow down a little bit. Before we get into how, let's set the milestone very, very clear. When do I know that I'm actually able to retain the customers? What are the golden benchmarks here? What's the gold standard? If you look at some of the data that is available out there in the research, specifically in the SaaS space, you'll be amazed to find out that the goal here is not just to retain your customer at 100% level. You want the ability to go beyond what they were originally paying. So let me sort of break that down. Let's assume that on 1st of January, you start with 100 accounts, paying you $1 million, and that was your portfolio, or of one of your customer success managers, however you want to call it, or maybe as an organization. Now, at the end of the year, 31st of December, without counting in for new customers that you acquired during the year, just looking at the cohort of those 100 accounts that you originally had, you ideally not just are looking for them paying you the same $1 million, but you actually want to grow using expansions and upsells and all of that stuff, because you're delivering more value. They want more of your stuff. That's just natural, right? And you want the return, the ARR, annual recurring revenue, go up from $1 million to at least a $1.25 million and beyond. So essentially, we're talking about a net dollar retention of 125% and above. And it's not a figure which is hard to achieve. It's not a figure which is, although, well, there are ways to look at the numbers, whether it's hard to achieve or not. It's like, I think, how determined you are. But this is a figure which can be achieved even at scale. This has been proven by organizations like Zendesk. Even at scale, they've IPO'd, right? And of course, for a smaller organization, this absolutely should be the goal and nothing short of this. There are ample organizations which are even kicking 150% and beyond. But overall, across the SaaS industry, if you truly see businesses, while they have cracked sales and marketing, and I know a lot of great work that you do, Matt, in your programs and coaching, you're helping people kick ass when it comes to acquisition. But unfortunately, it's no good unless if they're still bleeding churn, right?
Oh yeah.
So the truth here in terms of statistics is that only 10% of SaaS businesses are above 125% net dollar retention today. So that's your gold standard. And if you're smaller, I think the gold standard should even be higher there. And so that's what we help companies get to. Take your SaaS business to more than 125% net dollar retention. That's where Customer Success Box fits in.
I love it. And that net revenue retention number is very important when you start thinking about investing. Investors love that number. They're definitely going to highlight that number and see how you're doing at that. Really gives them a good idea of, are you able to keep people? Are you able to grow within the customer base? You can increase the wallet share. So many important things can come out of that number being good. So how does Customer Success Box, your company, how do you help those SaaS businesses with something like that number and with that retention?
Absolutely. I think if you just take a moment to sort of think about it, the answer is so obvious. We are talking about net dollar retention. So net dollar retention is going to be is going to be a mix of a bunch of things. The customer who's going to renew, the customers plus the customer who's going to buy more, upsell, expand, all of that stuff, minus any contractions or downgrades, minus any churns. See, there will be some churn, which is inevitable, which is out of your hands. Businesses shut down, there are acquisitions and merger. And there are sometimes politics, which is way beyond your control. And those are the churns that you are very challenging to sort of control. But what is in your hand is that out of the 100, if you are left with 95 businesses, within those 95 businesses, you want to make sure that the upsells and expansion make up for all the lost revenue and even beyond, and you are able to get to 125% and more. So first thing first, we want we want customers to stay. Why will a customer stay? See, we are delivering, we are asking in SaaS, in the subscription economy, we are asking for not a one-time charge. We are asking for what I call a stream of revenue, month on month, quarter on quarter, year on year. Likewise, our customers expect a stream, not a one-time, a stream of value, month on month, quarter on quarter, year on year.
For sure.
And so you will be able to get to 125% and beyond in net dollar retention if you are able to keep your customers, and you will be able to keep your customers forever if you are delivering value. And so let's stop a minute, stop for a minute to revisit. Hold on, what value are your customers looking for? Remember what your website promises. That's the value I'm talking about. What your marketing, sort of shouts from the top of their lungs. What your sales commits to. I talk about, there's your website talks about is what is called a value promise. Then your sales process is more of a value demonstration or a proof of concept, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And customer success is all about value delivery. If you're able to deliver that value, that is when you are going to make sure that your customers get that value, they stay forever, and then 125% net dollar retention is a byproduct. It's just a non-event. That's where we help. Now,
cool.
Happy to zoom in a little bit more if you, if that's okay.
I think it's super cool what you guys are doing. What gave you the idea to get this started, Puneet?
Okay. That was like, that came so obvious when, it was like da moment, like, of course I want to do this. Let me backtrack and maybe probably give you a full introduction of what my background is. So I've got a master's in computer science, and I also have another master's in business management. Along the line, I was a programmer. Once a programmer, always a programmer.
Yeah, of course.
But then along the way, I started selling. Right, I say I moved to the dark side. So interestingly, I've been selling SaaS since 2006, and so me and SaaS go back many years. And I've been selling for donkey years. Fantastic. Great, had a good corporate run, started teams, started new regions, new industries, sort of rolled out new products and whatnot. But primarily, something interesting happened when my last employer hired me as VP of Worldwide Sales, doing shy of roughly, let's say, around 10 mil in recurring revenue. And I was VP of Worldwide Sales, like fantastic, hired a great team, inherited a great team, and we were kicking ass. The only one thing which was different in this role versus all my previous leadership roles was I signed up on an incentive plan which was based on MRR rather than signing from a typical acquisition, right?
Yep.
And 3 months in, it's like my sales team's kicking ass. We are adding customers. Everybody's making incentives except me. So hold on, something must not be right here.
Yeah.
And I look at the numbers. It's like, oh, we are adding 100 customers every month, and we're losing 100 customers every month.
Oh,
there you go. That was my introduction to churn.
Yeah.
And it hit me.
Man.
So like it or not, I was then forced to step in, like, worry about churn, was instrumental in learning about customer success, was instrumental in learning about churn and everything else related to it, was instrumental in hiring the team, building the team, putting the initial practice of customer success in place, and essentially trying to basically make sure that I make my incentive.
Of course,
Fast
yeah.
forward to today, I'm all chips into customer success box.
I love it. What a great story. It's so cool how some things kind of hit you. I want to make sure that we kind of backtrack a little bit. I want to make sure for those of us who are listening, who are unclear, a lot of people who are listening are leaders in tech companies. However, sometimes the idea of customer success versus customer service can be a little hazy. Can you just kind of separate it for us? How does customer success differ from customer service?
No, absolutely. I can give you a short answer, a long answer. Probably I'll give you a little bit of backdrop and see if you like it. So interestingly, the company that I said, which hired me as VP of Worldwide Sales, where I was responsible for MRR and we struggled with churn, was a company which was actually selling customer support or help desk software, right? And I've spent all my life in sales and marketing. And what really happens in sales and marketing? Let's look at that journey where it begins. The journey begins literally from who can be a potential customer. Must be this LinkedIn profile, which meets our ICP criteria. Persona is so and so. They're a VP of X, and their company size is so and so. Minimum number of employees is 200 plus, whatever. And then we start to track them. Somewhere we bring them, give them some content page, they land on our website. And we still don't know. They're an anonymous cookie, right? And then we start to track them. Look at the amount of love that we are trying to show, right? We start tracking an anonymous cookie right from there. And then we nurture them at some point. They share our email address on the website. They become a known lead. And then we nurture them. And at some point, they agree for a demonstration. That's when they come in as an opportunity. Then even more love and care. A sales rep jumps in, and then they live through the CRM funnel. And then one fine day, hopefully closed one, they are our customers. Amount of love and care, a customer goes through. After they become a customer, guess what happens to them? You, Mr. Customer, have a problem? You write to support at, I will respond on my SLA.com, and they become a support ticket. And when I was at this unique vantage point. I was doing sales and marketing and then eventually parts of success. But selling a customer support this software. So I had this unique vantage point to first of all see what really happens to a customer post-sales. So that was like, I think that's not fair. Definitely not in subscription economy. Number two, it was obvious that is not good enough to retain a customer. And hence, the key difference between if you really look at in customer success versus customer support or customer service is going to be that at its core is subscription economy. In subscription economy, you can't be waiting for the customer to ask for help. You have to be proactive.
Absolutely.
In customer service, if there is no support ticket, the underlying assumption is that silence is bliss. Everything must be hunky-dory. Whereas in customer success, which is subscription economy, silence is deafening. And you're like, no support ticket. There's no engagement. Are they even using the damn platform? Are they forget getting value? Are they even logging in? Is my champion still in the company? And hence, we don't want to be reactive, because in customer service, you react to a trigger which is triggered by a human, a user on your customer side to ask for help, and then you react to. I'm sure you have a great customer support team, and by no means I'm saying customer support is not important. I think customer support is equally important, but we can't purely be relying on a reactive means. Sure. We need to be proactive. Now, let's dig a little bit more deeper into it. If you really look at what are we essentially trying to do is, in a customer support or customer service is always seen as a cost center. That, hey, we've sold a product, now we need to service them, so we need to make sure that support tickets are responded to, right? That's such a support cost center mindset. Whereas the moment you look at a proactive customer success approach, you are ensuring that your recurring revenue not only comes in at 100% of renewal, but actually more, 125% and more. So what is the contribution of your customer success? It is actually driving growth. Hence, it is fundamentally a profit center. So the way I put it is, I think acquisition-led growth is dead, and customer success-led growth is the future. Or rather, frankly, it's already here. If you're not party to that, then obviously something's broken. So all of that then leads to higher LTV, higher lifetime value, higher retention rates, all of those pieces. And that's fundamentally what customer success is, making sure that you proactively reach out and that the value gets delivered. The value, remember, the one that you're promising on your website. And again, I think it is okay to, so think of it as like running to the fire. If they're not getting value, you want to be there in front of the customer, making sure you're addressing those challenges, whether it's a technology challenge, implementation problem, training problem, understanding problem, whatever that is, and addressing that and nailing it.
That's great. Great stuff. That's really well articulated to help understand that difference and what the power is. So you mentioned a couple metrics. We talked about net revenue retention. You mentioned LTV just now, retention rate. What other metrics should SaaS companies be tracking to make sure they're determining the quality of their customer success efforts?
Oh, 100%. I think what is fantastic is the simplicity. Even if you just track one metric, I know different organizations will have different data points, and hence some can dig a lot more deeper versus the others. So I think the golden metric here, of course, is net dollar retention. What you really want to make sure is, if you're starting with $1 million, $10 million portfolio, you want to get to, or at least start trending towards 125% plus net dollar retention. And guys, don't worry if you're just too early, or maybe you are at an 80% net dollar retention. That's fine. Set up the goal for 85%, 90%. You're not going to get to 125% overnight, and it is going to be a journey.
Little improvements get you there.
Exactly. And Matt, just like you cannot nail acquisition in 3 months, right? You're not going to get to 20%, 25% conversion rate in 3 months. It is going to be a journey of, and so many moving parts there. So net dollar retention, I think, is going to be the ultimate piece. But if you start to break that down, like I was doing it earlier, what percentage is renewing, what percentage is upselling or expanding, what percentage is contracting or downgrading, and what percentage is churning. And then getting down further there, it is also very, very well known across the SaaS industry that the seeds of churn are sown in the initial onboarding stage. So make sure you're tracking the success of onboarding in multiple ways. Define what does a successful onboarding should be, and make sure it's data driven. And I can talk about that in a minute. Define what our onboarding should be, rather than just saying that once we have delivered these 5 trainings, or we've shared these 4 documents, or once we've had 3 calls in the 2 weeks, that's successful onboarding. No, I'm sorry, that's like very low, shallow definition of success. What you want to do is up it a notch where it's actually meaningful for your customers. What is the value that you expect that your customers should be able to get at the end of the onboarding? Now, this onboarding, depending on how complicated your product / the underlying problem statement is that your technology is trying to solve, it could be a 15-minute onboarding, a week onboarding, 6 weeks onboarding, or even a 6 months onboarding. But what is the value that you're expecting that your customers should be able to get at the end of that onboarding? And mind you, this might not be all the value that you plan to deliver over a year if you're a annual plan or a multi-year plan, and depending again on the nature of your SaaS platform. Sure. But what is that early value? Defining that and then measuring that. And one of the best ways to measure, of course, is in a very measurable way where it is not opinionated or biased view, is looking at data. So see how much product has been adopted. So we rely heavily on tracking true product adoption. That's the best proxy for value delivered. Of course, if you had the access to the CEO, to the sponsor, to the VP, the exec who purchased your platform, every day, 8 a.m., you can ask him, did you get the value yesterday from our platform? If you could do that, fantastic. But likely none of us can. And hence, what is that they're getting in the product? And we track that using product telemetry. We crunch all that big data. So my statement today is, why ask when you can measure? So you want to be able to track a leading indicator that tells you, are they getting value or not? And if they are not getting value, you don't want to be waiting till the anniversary of the license, right? You want to be informed with an alert, with an health indicator that this customer is not getting value, or they're declining in the value that they're getting, so that you can intervene, whether it's an automated, hybrid, or a human-led approach. But you want to be able to intervene to make sure they're back on the value track. You want to de-risk the account. You want to jump in and deliver value. That's what we do. That's what Customer Success Box essentially does. It tracks. We literally track 25 billion individual events every month in our platform today for our customers. We track more than 2 million end users, like our customers, every day in our platform. To make sure that each one of them is getting value. And if they are not getting value, see, tracking alone is not going to get them value, right? Tracking alone is going to give you the opportunity to jump in and intervene to drive that value. Sorry, we moved from a KPI to what it needs to be done, but you get the point.
That's okay. It's definitely helpful. And I love the idea that, you really have to make sure that they're continuing to get value. That's fantastic stuff. Absolutely. What tips would you give to other software leaders who are just starting out, just getting going on their journey? They've got their startup, they're excited about it. What should they be thinking around customer success as they move forward?
I think depending on what stage you are in, and by the way, I did like a very detailed podcast on when to start on customer success, and where I get into the more and more nuances. It's a long answer, but I'll try to squeeze it. Depending on what stage you are, see, customer success in the subscription economy is going to be heart and soul of your organization. This is where even if you are so early that you haven't even found product market fit, how will you find product market fit unless you are in front of the customer, making sure, checking every day, are you getting value or not? Once you do find product market fit, you then want to take your, let's say, $50 million portfolio, divide it into, let's say, $5 million portfolios, and then distribute to a team of customer success managers. Again, this could be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and you want to have different distribution strategies and different approaches and whatnot. But you want to have customer success managers, customer success leaders, making sure within their portfolio, they're growing their portfolio, like I explained, within the same cohort without counting for new customer acquisitions. And that needs to be key. Now, at whatever stage you are, I think this is going to be as effective. What I will advise here is, no matter what stage you are, make sure you're data-driven. You're just not driven by pure relationship. You're just not driven by pick up the phone. I think those are also required, especially early stage and both late stage. Think of it as a metric of relationship on one end and value delivery / product adoption on the other. And you want to be on the top right, quadrant.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, I was missing that popular term. So you want to be you want to be on the top right quadrant. Like I did go to a B school, so yeah, hard to take that out.
Absolutely.
So sorry about that. And I think just be data driven, because otherwise, we all can be so biased. We all get so kicked about when somebody wants to say, oh, we love your product, but then when you go look at their data, shit, they're not even logging into the platform, for 2 weeks. And that will sort of explain it to you. They told you that they love your product because maybe they are under a social obligation to do so.
Sure.
Maybe their referral, their friends and family. So I think be data driven as early, as much as possible.
It's fantastic advice, something I completely agree with. And this has been great learning overall. I love what you shared here, Puneet. I want to make sure that our audience knows how to find you, how to connect with you in Customer Success Box. So how shall our audience learn more about what you're doing?
Oh, thank you. I think the best way to find more about Customer Success Box is visit us at www. Oh, sorry, actually, it's not www. It's customersuccessbox.com straight away. And if you want to connect with me, I'm a LinkedIn guy, so you should be able to find me, Puneet Kataria, Customer Success Box. You absolutely should be able to find us. We do have a truckload of content even if you're starting on customer success, and nothing to worry. You absolutely welcome. And a lot of SaaS businesses are very new to customer success. But thankfully there is a community, very well connected, very vocal, very helping, very willing to sort of share their learnings. And I've learned all my learnings, I think, working with so many customer success leaders who are actually fighting this from the trenches every day. So you're welcome to check us out on our blog, on our website, customersuccessbox.com.
Okay, perfect. And we'll put that in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast. We'll put it down in the description if you're here on YouTube. But this has been awesome, Puneet. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Matt. And so glad. I just absolutely love what you're doing. I think we all need to share and grow smarter together. So thank you for actually doing this. This is what your 100 and I think the published ones are 176. I checked in terms of podcast count.
Yeah, we've had quite a few fantastic guests, so I'm grateful that you're seeing that. That's helping. We get a lot of great comments and notes from around the world. It's a lot of fun. So it's something where I get to learn and talk with great people like you every week, and I love it.
I come from the world of cricket. Double centuries are absolutely only under the belts of legends. So I think, Matt, with the double century fast approaching on your podcast, you are absolutely making a legendary podcast for the B2B community. Hats off to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Puneet. It's been great having you on the show.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. For everybody else out there, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for watching. Super awesome to have you here. Make sure that you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. You're not going to miss out on amazing content and value shared with amazing people like Puneet. So go ahead and subscribe. Also, if you like the show, throw a like on there. Put a comment there. That's going to help us understand where we can direct content for you. So thank you very much for coming. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Take care.